like to get started?
Let's go ahead and get started.
Okay.
All right, welcome everybody to our Week with the Arts and our third presentation for this great week. It's really been a lot of fun learning new things and really focusing on all of the creative talent in our community. So this is Cocktails with the Curator. We put Angie on the spot tonight. I'd like to start by thanking our sponsors. And so there are our sponsors listed. I tell you, we simply couldn't hold events like this without them. And you can see we have many and they're very generous. We have our top sponsors, Thomas Howell Ferguson. We have our Starry Night sponsors, Capital City Bank, Henry Buchanan, Marathon, Roberts Construction Services, Southern Forestry Consultants, Synovus, Tallahassee Community College. We have our American Gothic sponsors, Bob Smith Photography, Jason Boone of Coldwell Banker Hartung, CSI Contracting, Cypress Capital, Fixel and Willis, Jim and Kathy File, and Rainey Thompson of Coldwell Banker Hartung. And tonight, a very special sponsor is our People's Choice Award sponsor, and that is Supporting Your Choices Incorporated, Bobby Dow Monroe. So thank you to all of these sponsors for supporting our events. So of course, this is a fundraiser for Gadsden Arts. This offers some income to help give us a strong start to the new year in support of our exhibitions and programs throughout the year at Gadsden Arts. And of course, those are in support of our mission to improve quality of life through art. And thanks to the pandemic, we're doing that through talking about art, looking at art, and making art. Programs for people of all ages at the museum, in families' homes, and in school classrooms. We're in some ways reaching people in more ways than ever. And we look forward to hopefully sometime later this year, bringing people back together in person. And in the meantime, we're grateful to be able to do that in this way and bring all of you together. So I'd like to introduce tonight our special guest, Angie Berry, and many of you have known her for many years. She has been the curator of exhibitions and collections at Gadsden Arts for about 13 years. As a curator, she develops exhibitions of local and regional contemporary American artists' work, and she manages exhibitions of national scope and significant cultural and historical content. Angie also manages the museum's growing permanent collection, from pending gifts and acquisitions to traveling exhibitions and loans. She serves on the board of directors of the Florida Association of Museums. She is a frequent panelist for Division of Cultural Affairs grant programs. Angie has a bachelor's in art history and a master's in arts administration from Florida State University. And while completing her degrees, she studied art history in Florence, Italy. And as you all know, she lives in Tallahassee with her husband, Chris, who is also one of our video technicians tonight, and her two sons, Ian and Oliver, who could come busting in at any moment. So with that, I'll turn it over to Angie.
Well, here's hoping. I have definitely tried to warn them that they will get bodily harm if they interrupt us. So welcome, everybody. I'm excited to share this cocktail with you. So I had the pleasure of working with all of our artists to put together this auction for us this year, our first online auction, which was really a challenge, but really kind of exciting to get to do. So a lot of the artists brought us some really amazing work, and the piece that Grace actually picked for all of our marketing, Natalia Andreeva's painting called Rainy Morning Still Life, I just loved. I was so struck by the colors, the greens and the purples. They really just had this calming kind of effect on me, and it was so attractive and made you want to look more. And the flowers started to draw your eye throughout. The patterning on the tablecloth really just helped move your eye through. And then you had those pops of color with the green apple and the yellow lemon. And I said, okay, I know what I'm going to do for my cocktail. I'm going to make a spiced apple cocktail with a little bit of lemon in there. So you'll see the ingredients right there. This makes about 6 drinks, more or less, depending on how heavy your pour is. But I'm going to make you one and then kind of show you guys how you can do make it for like a larger pitcher as well if you have like a party. You could also make a mocktail as well. You could use tea instead of the vodka, or you could even just use water. So that's kind of a fun thing. One of the things I was going to do is try it as a mocktail, but have it be with a hot tea and have it be like a hot drink, kind of like a hot toddy. So just some different things you can do if you don't feel like, drinking vodka. So first, there is a little bit of prep for this cocktail. So maybe make it the day before or a few hours before you want to drink it, which is a lot. I know it's a lot to ask, but really it's just a 30 minutes is the most. So what you want to do is start out with apple juice. And this has been in my fridge for like a week, and the kids have been dying that they can't drink the apple juice for mommy's work. So I can't use all of it for these cocktails, but it's about 18 ounces, which is about 2 1/4 cup. And you're going to put that in a kind of medium-sized bowl pan. Then you're going to get 6 cinnamon sticks. Look at this big old bag I got from Walmart. It's like $4. So about 6 cinnamon sticks you're going to put in. Then you're going to get star anise. So this is one of the kind of more fancy sounding ingredients. You can see my husband / videographer / assistant showing you that this little bag from Walmart is 64 cents. So easy peasy to find. You're going to get about 6 of those pods. They're really quite interesting looking, but you can see why they're named star anise. So you'll put those in there. You're going to put that in on your stove for first. You're going to put it, bring it to a boil, pull it off the heat, and let it sit for about 30 minutes. I let mine sit also overnight, but you want to let it get that nice kind of aromatic spicedness to the apple juice. Then you're going to need some lemons. Luckily, it is a great time of year for lemons. I know everybody's lemon trees are probably towards the end of it, but it's a great time to have fresh lemon juice. So one of these big lemons makes about 6 ounces, ironically, which is what the recipe calls. For. But just do enough so you've got about 1/3 of what you would use for the. I see children begging for water. Did you know we're such horrible parents? So you're going to squeeze a little bit of this lemon juice. Would you like to see my, it's going to be just sneaky about it. That's Oliver. Say hi. All right, get your water. All right, now that we've got our lemon juice.
What are you making?
Go.
A drink. While you've got your knife out, I'm also going to cut up a little bit of apples for our just for a little decoration on the cocktail. So just like a few little slices, make it kind of look pretty. All right, now that that's ready, then with some TV magic, I've got my spiced apple juice ready to go. It's been boiled and then steeped for at least 30 minutes, and then I've got that. It smells pretty good. Then you're going to take a shaker. If you want to do these one at a time, get yourself some ice. Oh, we'll put some ice in our glass as well. It's going to be loud. Okay. Then you're going to take and do about 2 ounces or so of the apple juice. 2 ounces of vodka. And then about 1 ounce of the lemon. When I made this for my husband, I think I put a little bit too much lemon, but he liked it. So about 1 ounce of lemon to the mixture. I'm gonna mix it up. I'm just gonna, who was it? Tom Cruise in Cocktail. I just knew that was gonna happen if I did that. So now that you have it nice and shaken up, shaken. Pour it over some ice, but you're not quite done. You don't have to do this, but I like the bubbles, is add some kind of sparkling water, club soda, to the mix. And then if you really want it to look fancy and pretty, add yourself a cinnamon stick, a few little pieces of apple because you get your fruit intake for the day, and voila, cheers. Not too bad. What's nice about this is you can kind of play with the how much apple versus how much lemon you put in and kind of adjust it. And like I said, you can also make this as a pitcher. So you just would mix together the lemon juice, the apple juice, and the vodka ahead of time. So when your guests come, when you can have guests again, you'll have that ready in the pitcher. You have them poured over ice and then add a splash of the club soda if they like. So do I have any questions?
You got some comments. Patsy said Rachel Ray needs to watch out.
There you go.
Yeah, lots of fun comments. Curator gets to guzzle the first round. We have a friend who swears that any drink that has fruit in it is a snack, not a drink. So there you go. You added apple. That's a snack. That's not a drink.
It's even vegetarian.
There you go.
Probably gluten-free too. Who knows?
That's wonderful. Well, thank you, Angie.
Yay.
Hey. All right. So
this is going to put the recipe in the chat. She may have already done that, but
I have already done that for you. So if you're interested in the recipe, I've pasted it into the chat. I'm going to paste it again because a couple of people came in after I posted it, so it won't show up for them. So that is in the chat for you if you'd like the recipe. What you said, it makes like a picture of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's about 6 drinks, depending upon, maybe more, maybe less, depending on how heavy your hand is. So, I'm being told that I need to make one for my husband. So,
all right. Well, I'll let you, I guess, make another. And I think now it's time for me to talk about our auction items. So I'm going to talk about, as long as my puppy is out of the way, I want to take this chance to kind of spotlight some of our auction items that we have. We've got a fantastic auction. It has 80 works of art and a couple other fun items thrown in, like a trip to Tennessee and an HGTV. And we have a lot of traditional mediums like oil and acrylic and watercolor, but we also have a couple of amazing handmade fiber works, like this hand knit throw on the left, and then a large quilt by Wendy Adams. And then Quincy Hanby also brought us the showstopper earrings and necklace set, that one on the right, 119. It's composed of, let's see, spondylus shell. That's how Vanessa is going to say it. It includes these shells, freshwater pearls, apple coral, mother of pearl, pressed glass flowers, and crystals. Quincy said, I was first introduced to this shell while doing archaeological recovery in the lower Sonoran Valley around Tucson, Tucson, Arizona, in the late 1980s. These shells are found in the Sea of Cortez. The Maya and the indigenous cultures of North America traded the shell freely like Mexican turquoise. What a gorgeous and special piece. We also have some unusual mediums like enamel. If you're not familiar with enamel, we've had a couple of exhibitions of enamels, and it is powdered glass fused to something, usually metal, usually copper. We've got Kathleen Wilcox is on the left and Jay Gould's on the right. Both of these are created with vitreous enamel. It's kind of this ancient art. You apply the glass powder to the base in a kiln of like 1500 degrees to fuse them together. And they've both been creating with glass for over 35 years. We also have some just completely gorgeous watercolors in the auction by some of the finest watercolorists in our region. And these are just a few of the examples. We've got the Southern Cypress by Dean Mitchell. That's number 103. It's just stunning, and a really familiar image to those of us who grew up in North Florida. There's also Don Mitchell's piece with this portrayal of an 1849 Higdon May house, which is on King Street in Quincy. There's also Lester Richardson's Chalk Walk it's just a watercolor that has this downtown scene of people chalking. And this took place in Lakeland, Florida. Remember, we can go to places with crowds. What a nice scene. We've also got a lot of acrylics. So there are a lot of paintings in the auction. So, and a good handful of acrylics. We've got Randy Breenan's number 109 was painted during the 2019 St. George Island paint out. Captures this local scene here. That you could see that North Florida seashore there. And also highlighting the Forgotten Coast is Janice McCaskill's Hidden Beauty, the shotgun house there, which is number 102. It depicts an Apalachicola, Florida shotgun house. The artist painted it on masonite, just like the material that's used to build shotgun houses. So of course, in addition to all of the paintings that we have lots of sculptures. We're really excited at how many we had this year. Two of our region's best ceramic artists, Barbara Balzer and Nancy Jefferson, are represented. Nancy Jefferson's that manatee. Barbara Balzer's is that figurative sculpture with what looks like maybe a swan or something on top of that head. I'm not sure. Ooh, this is the note we've got here. Wouldn't that manatee look so nice in a beach house? We've also got these horsehair pots by R.T. Smith. They have this striking pattern that was created through the application of horsehair and other dry carbon-based materials to the heated ware as it's like in the kiln. And so when you apply them, it kind of burns and creates these smoke patterns and these like trails as it burns on the surface of this hot ceramic piece. And so that's how you get those beautiful designs on those pieces. Just double checking the chat. And making sure we don't have anybody in the waiting room, sorry. Somebody needed let in. And I believe Cheryl Sattler is here. This is her beautiful piece at the bottom left there. We've also got several pastels. So this is more of a drawing medium. You know, it's basically like a very fancy, a better version of a crayon, but it's a drawing medium, not really a painting medium. We've got Thomas Friedman's Three Birds, number 115, which really jumps off the paper with kind of this gemstone-like quality. The depiction of birds is a reminder of a scene in the Andes that the artist stumbled upon last spring. It was early morning and the clouds built against a foundation of trees and mountains, and the rising sun brought out the many colors in their feathers, which are, you know, often not visible later in the day. We've also got these two pastels by Wendy Devario, who I'm sure most of you have seen her work at our museum before. She's really a master of the medium. She's won several awards in art in Gadsden for her really beautiful work. As you can see, we are super lucky to have some photographers in the auction. We've got this 2005 photograph of a spoonbill that was taken by Jim Miller at the Homosassa Springs Wildlife State Park. This piece is a dye sublimation photograph on metal, which is what creates kind of like a shimmering effect to the piece. We actually have 3 works by Jim Miller that create this beautiful stack in the auction room, all on this metal that really pops, really, you could see the colors on it. The other photograph we've got at the top right by Matt Brady, the bottom right by Jimmy Nicholson. Those are taken with traditional film and developed as silver gelatin prints. There's just this quality and variation of hues that you can get with film that's really quite striking. And as you guys probably know, we have Clyde Butcher's film photography also at the museum now. So it's a great chance to see some gorgeous film photography if you come and see the works in person if you haven't yet. We also have several still lifes and florals. If you guys joined us for Kay Edwards' demonstration yesterday, we talked about how much nature and flowers are so inspirational to many of the artists in the auction. We also love still lifes, which tend to have flowers in them, but they also tend to have cups and fruits and things in them as well. We love the still life with pears. This gorgeous, it's not a miniature, but it's a small piece, the number 158, I think it's Gerald Lubitschek is his name. And it's fairly small, lots and lots of detail in this piece. Definitely one you want to see in person. He's a Vermont-based artist and he's known for photorealism and genre painting. And then, see, these are some of my favorites. We've got some gorgeous abstracts. They're all together on one of the walls in the auction room. last year, actually, Terry Corbett, whose work is at the top left there, last year she had an artwork in Art in Gadsden that won first place. In cold wax and oil is what she uses. And she really continues to kind of balance these beautiful colors and forms. I love the yellows and purples and pinks that she has in this gorgeous piece here. And then at the bottom right, we've got Dan Taylor's Attraction, which is number 137, which is an oil on canvas, super striking. A lot of texture. If you saw our presentation on Tuesday, they talked a lot about the texture of that piece. It's one you definitely want to see in person. Apparently also Dan's artwork, Dan Taylor now has artwork on one of those traffic control boxes at the corner of College and Monroe Street in Tallahassee. It's a piece called Springtime Tallahassee, which was accepted into Art in Gadsden last year. So that's really cool. Congrats, Dan. And then my final highlight that I want to share with you guys are the beach pieces, which I think are just so appealing. You know, who doesn't want to be transported to the beach right now? It turned really chilly today, and I know we're probably all yearning for some warmer temperatures. So we've got several works that can transport you there. This one on the bottom left, number 149, is by Steve Alpert, has these parakeets. I believe it's of Hawaii, and it's really bright and colorful and has this gorgeous frame, and it's also very large. It would make a great statement piece. And then there's others like softer pieces, just kind of have that energy of being at the beach, that kind of like stillness that you have there. And these are just some of the 80 auction items that we have. And we wanted to just highlight them for you so you could see kind of the wide variety of the artists in our area and what they're creating, and how talented the artists in this area really are. And we hope you'll browse the auction either in person or online. And I think at this point, it's going to be about time for us to announce who the winners are. Is that correct, Grace?
This time, Angie's going to start with the third place award winner.
Okay, so Angie's going to start with the third place award winner.
All right, well, I'm excited. Okay, well, our third place award winner, People's Choice Award goes, before I start, I just wanted to say it was so fun getting to this People's Choice. And even though it was online, I really enjoyed it. And it was fun to see, well, who everybody voted for. And thank you all for participating in that. It was really fun. And it's great for our artists because the winners get cash prizes. So
do you know how many there were, Angie, who voted?
I know it was over 200.
Yeah, it was about, I don't know the exact number, but it was over 200. I think it was about 230.
Wow, that's exciting. Yay. Well, we'll definitely have to do this again because I really enjoyed it. It was fun. And thank you to Anissa and our museum assistant, Jordan, for putting it together and online. So our third place award winner gets a $100 cash prize, and it goes to Brenda Francis for her work Lighthouse Through the Palms. Brenda actually didn't start painting until 2010. She started to be drawn to painting because her mother was a painter, and so she started studying them and really wanting to know more about how these paintings were constructed, and started taking lessons. And it's been gangbusters since. Her and her husband both love photography, so they go out and take photographs together. So she has kind of a never-ending source of material for her paintings. And this 2019 oil painting really captures very elegantly the St. Mark's Lighthouse, something we're all very familiar with, although you don't quite notice it at first. The palm trees in the foreground really kind of take over, and then you realize, oh, there's the beautiful lighthouse. So definitely a painting that reminds so many of us of North Florida, and a scene that a lot of us have had the pleasure of seeing in real life. So congratulations, Brenda.
Awesome. Thank you, Angie. And I believe Grace is going to do second place.
Absolutely. And before I do that, I wanted to point out a couple of things about the auction. One, as in with Brenda Francis's work, when you look at these pieces on your phone or on the computer, you don't have any idea of the scale or the texture or really even the color that you have when you see them in person. I was surprised today when I really went to take a second look at some of these, and Brenda Francis's piece is quite large. And I online hadn't even noticed the St. Mark's Lighthouse, which is back there almost right in the center of the composition. So if you are able to come and see these in person, be sure to do that. You can also click on the small images on your computer and they'll pop up and they'll get much larger. And then Angie's put a lot of extra information in there about the artist. There are some artists who are collected by museums across the country that are included in the auction. You'll get the idea of the scale, how the work is framed, if the frame is not in the picture, etc. So also, I'll do this. Cell phones, you can view the auction on your cell phone. So this is a great way to totally obsess about the pieces you're bidding on. A lot of fun to keep an eye. And then when you place a bid, it'll text you to let you know when somebody's outbid you. So if you really want to really immerse yourself in the auction for the next few days, use your cell phone. Okay, so on to second place award. I'm very pleased to present this award to Havana-based artist Mark Georgiadis. He's been honing his skills as a sculptor and painter for many years, and I'll tell you, it's uncommon for someone to be very successful at both painting and sculpture, to be able to think both in 2 and 3 dimensions. Mark works with steel, copper, and aluminum in his sculpture, which is welded together to form unique structures. His inspiration comes from nature and fantasy, and he likes to create edgy work, distorting the size and proportion of his subjects and creating the illusion of motion a lot of the times to create mood. He had a horse in Art in Gadsden last summer that was a great example of this, that was made of wire. Mark is adept in many mediums, metal, oil, acrylic, but he chose watercolor to depict his Forgotten DeSoto, which is item number 117 in the auction. It's 20 inches wide by 16 inches tall, so it's fairly large, and it captures the once stylish Chrysler abandoned in a field, struggling to hold on to its former glory. So congratulations, Mark. With that, I'll pass on to Angie for the first place award winner.
Awesome. Thank you, Grace. Congrats to Mark. That's so fun and exciting for him. Our first place award winner is Kathleen Wilcox for her enamel work. So since 1986, Kathleen has been working as a studio artist, producing a line of enamel jewelry and larger one-of-a-kind enamel works. She's been exhibited and won. Art in Gadsden had gotten several awards in Art in Gadsden in the past. And what's really cool about enamel work is that each piece is developed through multiple applications and layers of firing. I know Anise touched on that earlier. The piece can be fired anywhere from 5 to 20 different times, depending on the design or the complexity. And Indigo Bunting, which is the first place award winner, number 139, really showcases her mastery of several enamel techniques. As she silk screened enamel powder onto the copper and used ceramic pencils and graphite pencils to draw directly onto the metal while firing each layer in a kiln. And there's also several layers of pieces. It's not all one piece. She has them stacked and kind of attached to each other and screwed together. So it's really just an interesting work. Kathleen is amazing. She, I know, does lots of workshops and things for other artists, but we were so excited and pleased to have her win first place in the People's Choice. I think it's back to Grace for Best in Show.
Okay, sounds good. So I'll tell you, it's really exciting to recognize these artists and to have the community decide who earns these awards. We're always so excited for the artists because once they join and start exhibiting with us and we get to know them over the years, they just become part of the family. It's with great pleasure that I announce our Best of Show award tonight. So who remembers posies? And I can't see everybody right now, but you can raise your hand if you remember posies. Jimmy Nicholson took this image of Posey's Oyster Bar in 1982. It's number 133 in the auction. And he recently created the 9x12 gelatin silver print from the decades old negative that he had saved. Located on the bank of the St. Mark's River, Posey's endured its share of flooding from tropical storms and hurricanes. Built in the 1920s, it survived until 2005 when Hurricane Dennis severely damaged the structure. Posey's was demolished in 2011, and Jimmy says, "The objective of my work is to document the people, landscape, and daily activities of the rapidly changing Florida Gulf Coast in Bay, Franklin, and Gulf counties. I strive to photograph what people see on a daily basis Things so simple they don't warrant a second glance, but take on a new significance only after they change or disappear. The nostalgia of this photograph has secured its place as the People's Choice favorite. So congratulations, Jimmy. So that wraps up our Artist Awards for this evening. It's so good to see you all online. Now I can see you all again. Hello. Thank you for tuning in with us. Tomorrow we have our next presentation at 2 o'clock, and that will be Beverages and Baskets with Beth Allman. She'll be talking about her art form, which is the very traditional art form of basket weaving, and she also does chair caning. And takes chairs that have been, really worn out, but beautiful old chairs, and gives them new life. So we look forward to having her demonstrate those, and we'll talk a little more about the fine craft that we also have in the auction during her presentation. And then Saturday is our last day of the auction, and we'll have our, for our Full Monty pass holders, we'll have our curbside pickup for your Art of Dining meal, and we'll have a cooking demo with Mark Suber on Saturday evening. So looking forward to those things, and I appreciate you all being online with us tonight. Thank you for tuning in. And if anyone says, gosh, I wish we'd have seen that presentation for any of these this week, we are recording them, and we'll have them online toward the end of next week once we've had a chance to edit them. So,
And I did want to tell, the auction ends what time on Saturday, Grace?
7:30 Saturday.
So keep an eye out.
All right, thank you all. Good to see you online.
Thank you. It was wonderful. Thank all the artists.
Absolutely. Have a good evening.
Enjoy your drinks.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.